I still remember the way the chandelier light caught his gold watch as he slid the folder across the table. It wasn't just a test. It was a public execution. We were halfway through dessert, his favorite, a triple-layer chocolate cake, when he said it. "Translate this and my company is yours." The table chuckled. Then her voice cut through, sharp, sweet, poisonous. How could he? He's just a high school graduate and a plumber. I smiled. I didn't look at her or at him. I looked at the folder, and I knew exactly what game they were playing. It was a family dinner party, but it felt like a court hearing. Crystal glasses, white linen, too much perfume in the air. He sat at the head of the table, king in his castle. My wife's mother sat quiet, pretending not to hear. My wife, bless her, gave me a warning look under the table, a slight squeeze of my knee. Don't take the bait. But I did, because that folder wasn't just paper, it was my ticket, and their underestimation was my fuel. I opened it. Dense technical Korean. A 32-page merger contract with clauses designed to make lawyers sweat. I recognized the layout instantly. I'd seen hundreds just like it in another life. Before plumbing, before the overalls, before the callous hands. I had been someone else. An interpreter for an international engineering firm. 5 years, 6 figures. Burnout and betrayal had driven me out. I'd buried that past so deep, even my wife didn't know. Until now. He leaned back, smirking. "You're not even going to understand the title." I read it aloud, perfect pronunciation. The smirk twitched. The room went still except for the clink of someone setting down a fork. I began flipping pages, translating, summarizing key points, even spotting a loophole in Clause 17 that could cost his company millions. I didn't rush. Every word was deliberate. Halfway through, his eyes weren't on me anymore. They were on the document. By the time I reached the final paragraph, his knuckles were white. I closed the folder. "Anything else you'd like me to do, sir?" No one laughed this time. But I wasn't done, because this wasn't just about a dinner party insult. It was about the years I'd listened to him belittle me. The way he'd call me to help in front of his golf buddies. The way his daughter, my wife, always felt she had to defend me. That night, when my wife and I got home, I told her everything. The job I'd had, the languages I spoke, the contracts I'd handled. She stared at me for a long time, then whispered, "Let's take him up on his offer." The next week, I requested a meeting. Not with him, his board of directors. I brought the translated document, highlighted and annotated with my proposed amendments. I also brought evidence that the Korean partner had been inserting predatory terms into the contract, terms that would have slipped past the lawyers he was currently paying. The board listened. By the end of the meeting, they'd invited me to consult officially. By the next quarter, I was head of international operations. And my father-in-law, he had to announce it himself at the shareholders' dinner. The same mouth that had once called me just a plumber had to say, "My son-in-law saved this company." He never looked me in the eye that night. His sister, my wife's aunt, asked me quietly how I'd learned Korean. I smiled. By fixing leaks. It was a revenge in the cinematic sense. I didn't torch his car or drain his accounts. No, I did something better. I became indispensable. Every deal with Asia ran through me. Every major translation. Every negotiation. He couldn't push me out without risking his empire. And slowly, the power shifted. Months later, I caught him in the corridor after a meeting. He hesitated, then said, "You did good work." I let the silence stretch before replying. "I know. I never asked for his company. I didn't need it. What I wanted was for him to understand that the man he mocked at his table was the man who kept his lights on, and he does now, every single day." Some people think revenge is about destruction. It's not. The sweetest revenge is turning their laughter into dependence, watching them choke on the words they once used to cut you. I still fix things for a living. Not pipes anymore. Contracts, partnerships, reputations. But I keep my old toolbox in my office as a reminder, because in the end, I didn't just fix his company. I fixed his opinion of me, and I made sure it stayed fixed.